Goku, in theory, isn't necessarily conscious. It's almost like something's possessed him. Maybe it was a ghost! That is, if he's able to tap into Ultra Instinct one more time, and I believe that it is quite possible. Bororeta can bore someone to death. Yeah, there might be more to this than I previously thought. Hey guys, MasakoX here. Now, Ultra Instinct. I think there has not been a single thing in Dragon Ball that has caused so much hype and hysteria since the days of Super Saiyan back in the early 2000s in America and the West. I mean, yeah, you could easily argue that the Super Saiyan God reveal from Battle of Gods generated a certain amount of hype. That is very true. This is just completely on a whole other level. Despite the brief appearance, the build-up, the revelation, and the abilities on display were actually really worth the wait. So it would really suck if someone lied to us, right guys? Well, I mean, okay, not lied, but creatively tricked. Before I start unfolding this theory, which is actually taking into account loads of my other theory videos on this channel, I really need to stress an important point. This is just a theory. There might be parts of this that could be right, they might be kind of accurate or have some elements of truth to it, or it could be just completely bonkers and Haverock and I might just be completely crazy. But then again, I think you guys kind of like the crazy theories. What is Goku's new form or technique or transformation or whatever it is called? I'll give you 3 seconds. Go. If your answer was Ultra Instinct, then I'm afraid you're wrong. Because actually, there is an official name for it. And the official name is Ultra Instinct Omen, and that comes from the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle card game, as well as Super Dragon Ball Heroes, so it's confirmed on 2 counts. So you could consider the term Ultra Instinct as like a neat little truncation for the term, kind of like what SSJ is to Super Saiyan. So let's begin with our own standard cultural word checking, okay? Now the word omen, what does it mean really? The term omen back in the day was considered by people to be something like a message from the gods, like a speed dial almost. If you had an omen, then the gods wanted to talk to you, and you were important. Now the term omen doesn't really imply any kind of change in a person's character. It can actually be referred to in good and bad circumstances. It doesn't really matter. Although in popular media, it's really kind of gravitated towards the more negative side, you know, with demons and spirits and really kind of nasty stuff. Now, what immediately comes to your mind when you hear the word omen? Not counting Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman's Good Omens book, mind you, which Haverock strongly recommends, by the way. I'm talking about this kid, you know, the creepy kid from the 1976 film The Omen. Yeah, that guy, Damien. It was a film about Satan. No, not that Mr. Satan, although I'd really kind of like to see a Mr. Satan interpreted version of The Omen. Now, I'm really talking about the devil. No, not that devil. We're talking about demonic possession here. Yeah, possession. In context to the Tournament of Power, the idea is nothing new. Many characters have gone on record to state that Goku, whilst he's in the Ultra Instinct being, is not really acting like himself, like he's a different person. But the reason why, the true reason why, has of yet been unknown. Then, when I was having a chat with Haverock, something began to click. The pieces started falling into place, and I think now we can reveal something that will truly blow your mind, and something that you might not have expected. Something is possessing Goku. So to start things off, we need to take a look at our surroundings, where the fighters are basically fighting. The World of Void. The World of Void is an isolated place outside of the multiverse with literally no time or space. As the name implies, it is a void world with infinite nothingness. The World of Void is the setting of the Tournament of Power, as the fighters can take advantage of the nothingness to use the full extent of their powers. What if there was something there before? What if it was literally the remnants of the 6 erased universes from the past? So you're kind of fighting in a case of dead man's boots. Ew. After all, we saw Future Zeno hanging out in one of them, not doing exactly anything constructive. Now granted, that doesn't look like that, but you have to remember, when that became a thing, it was a bit of a hot mess and brand new. It could have just cooled down or changed over time. This was like a World of Void in the making. Now we recently got a confirmation in the manga that initially caused a stir in the anime community, but has long since been forgotten actually. Zeno, you know, the Omni King, is actually not all-seeing. Well, at least not passively, that is. The Zenos cannot, or can't be bothered to, interpret all of the data that is coming from all of the universes. They were both having a very hard time keeping track of Dispo. And Dispo's pretty strong, but he's not the strongest. Which means that whilst they're supposed to be the strongest beings in all of the omniverse, they still have their limits. And if their job is actually trying to observe the universes, then honestly, they're really not doing a good job. Like at all. So maybe if they're not all that perfect, something might have slipped through the net. Maybe something remained. Maybe something lesser than a person is just lingering there in waiting. Oh my god, future Zeno and Goku have been possessed by Zamasu! Oh my god! Oh, I knew those smiles meant something! No, don't worry. I'm only kidding. But I got you there for a bit, didn't I? Okay, let's get back on track. Throughout all of this, the Zeno guards are actually quite worried about what's going on, you know, with the whole universal destruction dealie. And then when you actually compare them to the Grand Priest and the Angels, they seem pretty civil about it. They chill, they cool, they don't seem that rattled. But you would think that those bodyguards, whose only job is to actually serve and protect Zeno, would be used to Zeno's behavior at this point after countless millennia. Also, what's equally interesting is that Zeno only got the idea for the Tournament of Power and Universal Destruction when he actually met his future self. And that's especially weird considering the Tournament of Power didn't exist in the future timeline because Universe 7 and 10 are pretty much hunky-dory. Well, at least until Zeno destroyed it. So what could be remaining from those 6 erased universes? Mortals? Gods? Angels? But Masako! Angels become dormant when their god of destruction's been erased, so they'd still be alive, right? Well, tell that to future Whis, who was erased along with the timeline. We didn't see him at all. Also, has anyone actually seen the future Grand Priest? You would think that the future Zeno would actually try and bring him along because, you know, he's his most indebted servant and, you know, he's actually pretty friendly with the guy. Now, it can't be all down to the fact that 2 had a spat or the future Zeno destroyed the future Grand Priest. It's because that guy is actually friendly with our Grand Priest. Maybe we can assume that the Grand Priest that we see is the only Grand Priest, one that transcends all of reality and space and is present all the time, omnipresent. And this notion would only solidify even more that this guy is the true omniversal mastermind. Now, we can't prove many things right now for sure, but there's one thing that we definitely can. Zeno doesn't really understand how relationships and mortals work. And he doesn't really care. But Masako, Zeno's got friends. He considers Goku a friend. Yeah, I thought that too. But when Haverock and I were actually chatting, I began to think, oh wait, now let's count how long Zeno mourned Goku when he thought that he died. About as long as it took for him to actually press Goku's button on the God Pad. Goku's not his friend. He's just a toy, a pawn, a means of entertainment. Zeno doesn't really understand friendship. That is until future Zenos showed up, of course, and that revelation actually made the Grand Priest very happy. Now, you see, we all think that the Grand Priest is some kind of malevolent being in the waiting, just lurking to destroy the system from within, but actually, maybe he is the good guy after all. Maybe everything, the whole tournament, is just a means of trying to teach Zeno and now the future Zeno the meaning of friendship and what mortals can do, why they're worth keeping around and not destroying them. Wait, Masako, you're jumping between subjects here. You were talking about the fact that there were angels from 6 erased universes. Tell me more about that. Okay, alright. How do we know that these 6 universes weren't just a plot point, a ploy, to try and make people even more scared of the Omni King? For all we know, those 6 extra angels might never have existed to begin with. We've only seen 12 angels plus the Grand Priest. That is until now. Meet Makura. Here is an image of conceptual art for all of the angels when it comes to the Dragon Ball Super manga, and if you notice that there is one angel there that doesn't quite fit the mold of what we've seen. This picture's recently resurfaced, but it's kind of gone under the radar. Now, of course, this may be just conceptual art, but all of the other angels that we know do look kind of final. This might all be a hint. A hint as to what exactly? That there might be actual universes after all. Because originally, there were 18 universes and 6 of them were erased by Zeno purely on a whim, remember? And supposedly he erased the angels along with them. And the reason why I think they've been erased is because we don't see them knocking around after their universes have been destroyed. You would think that he would actually want to witness the Tournament of Power in action, you know, something for them to do. Maybe the whole not erasing the angels part of the rulebook for the Tournament of Power was something that was granted to the Grand Priest over time. So maybe when those 6 universes were destroyed, the Grand Priest didn't get that privilege. So they were erased, but his future children, these 12 ones that exist, get to live after all. Why am I concentrating so much on the angels, you ask? Well, it's all down to the fact that the angels really do know Ultra Instinct inside and out. They don't need to tap into it or transform or anything. They are in that state all of the time. The only thing that we know for sure about this technique or transformation or whatever it is that for Goku to access it, he has to fall out of consciousness and then it kicks in. The very weird thing, whatever it is that when Goku gets this form and he roars, there's an ungodly sound that emits from his mouth. It's not just his voice, but something else, like something is inside of him trying to get out. What if this power that has taken over Goku is the actual remnants of all of the angels, gods of destruction, and mortal beings that were erased in the 6 universes prior? Like, they're trying to get revenge in some way, and they've actually managed to tap into Goku. Somehow, during the whole Spirit Bomb black hole thingy, they were able to connect with Goku and then enter his soul and body. We don't truly know where Goku went in all of that. Was it a wormhole? Was it a black hole? Was it some kind of figment of his imagination? We don't truly know. This might actually explain why the Grand Priest was so afraid of the Spirit Bomb. Like, he could sense the vengeful spiritual energy from all of the erased universes, and thusly he tried to protect Zeno. That might be why. Now, can we go even crazier here? Maybe Jiren actually recognizes this energy. What if the reason he twitches is not down to the fact that he can sense power, is that he can sense something familiar, something that reminds him of home. Nah, let's go even crazier. What if the universes didn't originally start out as twins, but as triplets? But how does this make the Grand Priest the good guy, Master? Because we saw 2 universes being erased right in front of his eyes. He could have stopped it. Were they actually erased? In the case of the Future Trunks timeline, it's quite clear that that was pretty well erased. In the case of Universe 9 though, we only see the beginning of the process. It looks kind of different to the one that we saw in episode 67. Like, it might not actually be erasure after all. A lot of people have actually commented about this, and thinking that there might be something more to this. As if they were being teleported somewhere else, out of the way, like some kind of ploy to make people think that they were erased. But still, I'll never get tired of seeing Rose scared like that. And yeah, we are shown and told that the universes have been erased, but who is actually imparting all of this information? The angels. More specifically, Whis. What if the Dragon Ball angels are literally doing their job and are being angels to try and stop the universal destruction from happening in their own way, under the radar? We are aware that the Zenos can't see everything that's going on, so something would have slipped under his eyes because he's distracted by all the fighting, and then the angels could just go about their business. Now let's come back to the beginning of the video. An omen foretells a change, something big about to happen. Maybe the villain that we are seeking is the Omni King himself. Someone who isn't doing his job, doesn't care for his people, and expects everyone else to do all the work for him, and basically needs to be taught a lesson. Maybe Goku's become a vessel for people long gone, trying to get revenge against the child deity, or maybe they're trying to help the angels achieve their goals. Also, 6 universes, 6 angels, and 6 gods of destruction destroyed. Omen confirmed! Now, jokes aside, the Dragon Ball staff, remember, love to subvert us, play tricks on us, mess with our minds to make us think one thing where it's actually another. And maybe they're actually trying to subvert us again by making us think that omens are something to do with demons, where actually this time they might be angelic omens. Only time will tell. It might be just a crazy theory, but Haverock and I had loads of fun thinking this one up. So what do you guys think? Do you think Goku's been possessed? Do you think something else weird's been going on? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Catch you later!